You don't know what I've been through. Convoke. We got a lot of scene with Sarah. And the scene with Sarah are double Nintendo. So the first Nintendo is she gonna drink? Is she gonna be falling back? At this point, do you care about Sarah because she's not the interest of your main character? So you care about her. She is the Kate of Jack for Michael. And Sawyer ends up being Sawyer. Sawyer ends up being Lincoln. Fuck. And the other scene is, did she leave the door unlocked? More pressure on the president. Michael doing the last thing. His last hope is to see Pope and to actually have Pope free Lincoln. So this is kind of insane. We have Sarah taking Freddy, asking help from her father. And once again, her father's a piece of shit. Her father's like, you're always doing that. You're always bending the rule for your friends. I'm not gonna bend the rules. Now this is the insane part. We see her looking through a pub. Like, oh my god, she's gonna be drinking. She's not looking for the pub to be drinking. She's looking because her father is there. So that's actually pretty interesting. Nick goes in and pulls a gun on Veronica, saying, you're not gonna leave. And this is pretty much it. Michael comes in. We have everybody. We have everybody motivation to go on out. So, for example, CPAT is the fact that he has, and this is kind of weird. CPAT has his daughter. Tudor has Mikado. Michael thinks about Lincoln. He's thinking about his girlfriend. Abdulsi thinks about Clement Fabioso. Yeah, kind of insane. And Charles is pretty much dead. And he's looking at a picture of his daughter, saying how he missed her. And that's pretty much it. We have a scene, and we don't know if Sarah unlocked the door. Now here's the craziest thing. Michael, who doesn't know if Sarah's gonna leave the door open, which is the biggest scene and the biggest important of the scene. Trust out of anybody and everybody. Trust her. And goes in and take his shanks with a Pope and said, yo, you're gonna get my brother out. And if you get your brother out, what if the door is not open? You know? So it's kind of insane. We're still in a good mood, we're still energetic, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do more. Like I said, I would love finishing the first season today. We got what? We got... Ain't no way. There's only 2 left. I didn't know that. Wait a second. Every episode is 22? 22. Everything's gonna be alright. When sitting next to you. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. If you're not singing with me, then you're singing against me. And if you're singing against me, I will not accept it. I will push you out the door. Another thing, I'm going back to season 1 and they said, yeah, you just watched season 1 until 15. I didn't. There's only 22 episodes, so 22 times 4 is 88. And the season 5 is 9, so that's 88. 97 episodes versus 109 that we talked, because it was 25 episodes, which is 25, 25, 25, 25, 100, the next episode 109. Now we have 80. I don't even know how much we have. I'm tired. Let's get this overito. 22. Everything's gonna be alright. Why is the song in my head? In my head, I see you all over me. So we got number one, episode 21, which is the big night. Michael forced Pope to transfer Lincoln and the infirmary of the prison. The escapee. What is that song? You hear that song, don't you? I'm going insane. They make it with no problem into the office of Sarah, which is again kind of snitching. Why watch the episode when you have the information that Sarah is leaving? So the scenes, the episode starts with Michael capturing the popes and hiding the popes, saying that the popes is in here. This is important, however, because of 2 things. First of all, they got Lincoln out, which is important. Second of all, the Pope won't snitch because he's there. So 2 parts. Sucre is stressed this. Sucre is stressed, and this is kind of like a normal This is very humane. This is very nice because the whole time Sucre didn't give a schnitzel. Sucre didn't care about anything or anyone. He just trusted Michael, and now he has him doubt, which is normal. He's not having doubt versus Michael. He's having doubt before the plan. CPAT gets dead threat again, which is only meaningful because we like CPAT now. If you gave me CPAT is getting dead threat 70 episodes ago, I would be like, okay. Now I'm like, oh no, please don't kill my boy. He actually has a good backstory. He's actually a good character. It's just I don't like the way he forced himself upon the plan. But then again, if you had a chance to see your daughter, what would you do? How far would you go? And that is more humane than any of them. Well, maybe not Sucre, because Sucre is going to see his wife. So that's pretty much it. It's pregnant wife. So we got everybody again preparing themselves. What they're doing is they're pushing their clothes for White. Why? Because White is going to be the mental institute. The mental institute. So that's the thing. Fox River, which is the prison that they are, is high security. The psych ward isn't high security. So if they can pass as psych ward inmates, then they're not going to be as problematic as people in blue, which is what? Which is the uniform of the prison. Makes sense? Makes sense. Everybody is trying. There's a couple of good moments. Sucre Friends comes in. He's part of the escape too now, which is kind of crazy because he wasn't part of the escape first of all. Which is kind of weird. We got the whole crew of CPAT looking for him, but then the boys they protect CPAT, which is kind of cool. Veronica asked Nick, "Why did you do what you do?" Right? And Nick said, "I'm sorry, but this is what I was asked to do." Everybody leaves except for everybody leaves at the end. There's Sucre and Michael, and there's a nice scene where Sucre asks Michael, "Are you sure?" And Michael's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm sure." There's also this great scene where you see Sarah, and you're still not sure if she opened the door or not. However, she's done what she could. So, for example, she talked to her sponsor, she couldn't talk to her sponsor. She talked to her father, she couldn't talk to her father. So this is really like, okay, well, I made my decision, I made my bed, the dice are thrown. She still got to chill, which is kind of important because there's two possibilities. Either the two scenes are filmed simultaneously. Sarah is out looking at the seat and thinking, while the escaping are escaping, or Sarah in the day thought about what she's done, and now you can wonder. So, for example, right, if she's out there right now, she didn't do anything to stop the prisoner, which would think that, okay, well, probably keep opening the door. However, if she's smart, then opening the door is as good as stopping them. Because what they're gonna do if they don't have anything? Does that make sense? No? So basically, Sarah doesn't have to snitch. Basically, Sarah can sabotage the plan. Because she's part of she's important in the plan. Because she's important in the plan, her inaction, again, fleet increase, adjusts. New feature banner. Because I already read that. I already read you. It will happen once again. I'll turn to a friend, someone who understands. I know the Matrix. We understand, you know. We'll go with the worst skin ever is Easter skin. What a nasty skin. What were they thinking? That will happen once again. I'll turn to a friend, someone who understands. The Matrix thing is actually pretty nice. That's related to the Matrix itself. It's actually pretty cool. Because why did it copyrighted? What did I do? You know what happened? Look at the right issues. How weird. What happened once again? What just is going on? And maybe I see you at a movie street preview. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. Sarah holds a lot of power, which also basically means that Sarah is in charge of if the plan works or not, if it doesn't work. If the plan works, that's awesome. If the plan doesn't work, well, tough shit. Aurora. I'm gonna use Aurora a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna be using the magic skin. This skin, the Matrix. Actually, it's super cool. Again, it's not a skin that we use enough, so I'm grateful for that. Yo soy. Gracias para ti. Okay, sorry about this. We are back. We are back, brand new back. People are still looking for Balak. Now, again, Balak has his old life there. But that he's not there is actually pretty weird. You think a person that doesn't care a lot about the chill, you're gonna be too weird, you think Balak, it's weird. Right? So that makes sense. Teabag finds Balak. Now here's the part that is insane. This is not the first part. This is not the first time the inmate finds someone. They found Bob. Bob was a young police officer in the jail that saw their escape plan and Teabag killed because let's take that. Balak is more important because people don't like Balak. And Balak in their eyes possibly deserve it more than Bob. So we're gonna kill him or not. Veronica is still a prisoner. Michael used technology and smart to find the door. The president is once again victim of the corporation, and this is kind of cool because this is where Lenderman. So the first time we see the Lenderman and the corporation together, Lenderman just fucked up, and then he's like, "I didn't fuck up. Are you trusting me or trusting them?" Which is kind of important to the story. So we have the door that is unlocked, which is kind of nice. Sarah decides to use again. The friend of Sucre isn't doing well, but then this is nuts. This is nuts for two reasons. Because my God, this is bad. Okay, they put the friend of Sucre as a fail-safe. They want the plan to fail, and then it's bad, but it's kind of nice in itself. But it's mostly not bad. So basically, what you do is you put a character that you know is gonna fail, or you put a character that you know is gonna fail, because the whole time, Michael always had a step above. He was a step ahead for the escape plan. So no matter what happened, Michael, there's never a moment that felt like they wouldn't do it. For example, Lincoln getting executed doesn't matter because the other guy can't escape. Do I like Lincoln? Yes. Do I think Lincoln is, at this very moment, the most important part of the thing? No. However, season 2 they fix that, which is great. Another moment, okay, when Michael loses tattoos. That's a great scene. However, if you pay attention, you know that A-Wire had the painting. He had the drawing, so he knew it, you know? So again, he kind of knew. They put the friend of Sucre, which doesn't have a lot to do with the show. They don't have something going on because they see the bird. But that's about it. So he doesn't have a lot of implication. Why? That way, if he fails, he's gonna snitch everybody. Because he snitched everybody, and it doesn't matter how successful they were. The weakest link is his weakest link. A chain is strong enough as his weakest link. Independent Sucre is the weakest link, and the chain breaks. Now, Michael, brilliant, set up the alarm of the psych ward. So that's important. Why? Because everybody has a white coat, and the white coat is again psych ward. See the plane of Abruzzi come in. This is kind of nice because you see all of his friends. However, the plane has to go because there's too many problems. We got Michael, and this is brilliant because Michael goes in, and this is the same guy that we saw. This is the same guy we saw. So why is that important? Well, it's important because we established that they have a relationship. However, the guy is in dupe. He knows Michael, but he doesn't know the inmates. So I never see them. They're not psych ward. So this is where you see. Veronica goes in. This is insane because Nick is taking her to the plane. Because Nick is taking her to the plane, you can actually see that, okay, well, she's going to be meeting with Abruzzi. And Abruzzi is going to say, no, you don't get to the plane unless you tell me the witness. So then they leave, they go all the way to the infirmary. CPAT know that DB is in pain. However, what is the nice part here? What is the really nice part here is you establish a special bond between DB and CPAT because they're both father to a daughter, right? So this is what's going on. Another man asked for reassurance, the fact that he's important, and because he's important, uh, it's super cool. It's super cool. He needs assurance because he feels like she using him, and he's smart, and she is using him. The next part we got Lincoln talking to the guard. Now this guard is super important. Why? Because this guard is super important because he's like, no, I'm not gonna lose my life for 14 bucks an hour. So he does the right move. We see the people, for example, we see that him. He's super important because he's the guy that told Nick, don't forget who you're working for. So Nick comes in, and the guy shoot his father and shoot Nick's, which allows Veronica to run away, which is kind of important. They see that the door was unlocked. They break the window. What they do it is kind of cool. They use the elevator to do so. However, A-Wire is there, and A-Wire is good because A-Wire takes a walkie-talkie. Like, yo, I'm gonna run the alarm if you bring it. So that's actually pretty cool. Everybody gets to escape, right? But at the same time, we discover that Pope is in prison. Because we discover that Pope is in prison, he tells them Michael is trying to escape. The whole crew is trying to escape. Everybody's trying to escape. There's 3 last people. DB doesn't make it. DB dies. And DB, what is super nice is he tells them where he died. He tells 2 people. He tells Michael and he tells CPAT, which is important. You know, it's kind of cool. I did like this. It sucks because DB didn't deserve this. So Michael does it. Of course, he's the last one. They get caught. The guy is too fat. He gets caught and he breaks the line. That's the end of the episode. Not the greatest, but hey, I'm so that we're done with season 1. Now we can move on to season 2. What? Don't tell me that was the last day today. By the way, they put Five Nights at Freddy on Netflix. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch it. No worries. I missed Lost, man. I missed Lost. So 22 last of the night. 21% left. Should be okay. The escapee. After discovering their evasion, Bellic starts a manhunt for finding the inmates. While the vice president takes a scandalous decision. Again, if I was more precise, you would know what it is, but you don't know. And that is my fault. So they escape. The introduction is long. I think it's long. This is a 40 minutes episode, which is kind of insane. She's a temper. Okay, we're good. So I'm hearing it sound like water dribbling. I don't know what's going on. So we see an episode between this is weird because it's like a flashback, right? I don't remember that part. We got a new Abruzzi talk between Michael and him, and Abruzzi's like, yo, did she go? And it's like, nah, that's Tuesday back. You're still in, and John Abruzzi is still in. And John is like, yo, I'm a new man, I'm a new soul. Michael tells you won't need the witness, and he says, listen, I'll need the thing. Now, why is it important? It's because of 2 things. When John Abruzzi came back, he thought he was gonna go after T-Bag. So him and T-Bag have one thing in common. That link in common is Michael. So the fact that Michael possibly is more of a fan of Abruzzi for obvious reason is important. It was his course. So Bellic is asking for, and this is actually a really cool moment for the Pope. So since the beginning, Bellic felt like the pit bull of the Pope. He felt like the important part. He felt like the bad part of the Pope. Whenever the Pope was to do something, Bellic wasn't. So he sent Bellic's dog after the inmates, and he's like, "Yo, we're doing." My apologies. Bellic goes in, and he's like, "Yo, it's a manhunt." And the Pope said, "Okay, I don't have a choice." We have another flashback between Nick Fuentes and Veronica, which is what? I don't remember most of these. More of Nick trying to slow down Veronica, I guess. Michael and Sarah. Oh my god, I'm dumb, dude. I'm dumb. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. They put me back in episode 19. That's why it didn't make any sense. I'm like, why are they bringing me back there? There's one episode left. Why are they bringing me back? Well, isn't it the same thing? When I said about the Pope and Bellic, it is the same thing. They started with a manhunt. This is kind of crazy because who is Westmoreland? I'm hearing this sound and I don't like it because it sounds from very close. Westmoreland, Prison Break, Prison Break. Prison Break. Okay. Okay. So who is snitch on? Okay, perfect. So this is important because I don't remember the scene. I want to see something. So basically, what happened is they find the inmate and he snitch. Who did he snitch on? Oh, he snitched on Sucre. Ain't no way such on his boy. It was one of the first one too. That is shitty. Now, the Pope said that there's an escape. He is freaking out because everyone knows that there's an escape. So the prison is going crazy. Now, what happened is Bellic gets fined, and Bellic is on a manhunt. He's pissed off. They find him, and it's like, "Yo, grab my shotgun." So you know that's the first thing he says. Give me my shotgun. So he goes crazy. I don't remember that part a lot. So they escape, and then they're looking for the dog is looking for them. But don't forget that they blind their scent, so the dog won't be able to do anything. They're hiding not as far as they could be. The 7 of them are going forward, which is good. Again, we got the agency and the vice presidents. See, this is moments I like less, right? It's moments I like less. I don't like Dave. I don't like Veronica. I don't like it because I think it's boring. And at the same time, in a show called Prison Break, it's a lot of intense moments. Because there's a lot of intense moments, these feel like a break in the Endgame GC Bros. And then for this new model, Endgame GC Bro, the fuck? I don't know what that is. Okay. So what am I missing? We are ready for the tower. The 7 are there. There's a car there, which is kind of good. Brucey is the last one. Doesn't feel nice. So they do. I don't remember anything. Michael brings down the real life, okay? Because they make him invisible. They send a wire to get the keys, but then they leave. Now they realize that it's kind of crazy because they realize that and this is such a good scene. They realize that what you call it, that the door wasn't forced. somebody left them in, so this is implicating Sarah. T-Bag goes in, and Abruzzi to take a gun. And he's like, okay, well, what do we do? Now, T-Bag is smart because T-Bag takes a handcuff that we show him getting. And guess what happens? Guess what happens? He's taken to Michael. So if they kill him, Michael cannot escape. And Michael is behind the escape plan. So that's pretty freaking smart. Dalek finds the person that knows that there's a car that was there. He knows what the car is, he knows what model is, what the color is. They're no better to see it. The Pope asks who did it. Yes, which nurse did it, because it's a nurse. There's two possibilities, Katie, the friend of Sarah, and Sarah. So Katie said it's Sarah. She has to take for Schofield. Now, this is the great part, because who asked her? The Pope. The Pope was charmed by Michael, and Sarah was charmed by Michael. You're right. Do you understand what I mean? So this is kind of good. So we got this, we got that. The tire is messed up, and this is kind of bad.
It's just as far as you go, my friend. What? No, me out here. Not like we had a deal, remember? Yeah, but come on, bro. We're not bros. I don't think you want me telling the guys what I know. Now walk.
So Michael tell Tweeter that I know that you talk. I know that you snitch. So we're not homies, and I'm not gonna help you. There's a helicopter, which is bad because the helicopter will cover more ground, and he's pushing it. We have everybody. So for example, you know the part of it, what everybody does. Guess what he does? He steals a bicycle, which is insane. The guy for the aircraft, somebody said, hey, there's an aircraft here, I don't know where it belongs. And then the police come, so the airplane leaves. Seabat asks what's the plan, and it's kind of nice because everybody's like, yo, Michael, why aren't you telling us? Why aren't you telling us? And now they're so close, they're literally outside. The stakes are better now. The Popes and the whole police force are asking where they are. Veronica goes to the cabin and she literally sees Leatherman, and she knows that he's alive. So this is kind of insane. We have the president, and he made a big scene out of the drinking the water, right? Which would be kind of important. They don't show as to why it's important. What happened? Okay, they don't tell you what happened. Fuck them. Fuck them. They don't tell you what's on the phone. So they're all running away. T-Bag, this is amazing. Because T-Bag ran away. Right away. And this is nuts. This is nuts because T-Bag used Michael as a safety. And right away they cut off. Whoa. The quality of this camera is insane. Can't get over it. It's just so beautiful.